think there's no question that dating culture looks vastly different from whatever we decide to consider its traditional counterpart.
Human connection is what we crave. We long for love and to be loved. Without human interaction, where would we be? We'd all be silent creatures without emotion, going through the actions of life by ourselves. With that said, in what direction is human connection, specifically dating and relationships, moving towards? It seems as if, with technological advancements, the art of dating has seen a great shift. Could social media be the reason?
I don't get the sense that people necessarily make as much deliberate effort in terms of formally asking someone out, formally taking someone out on a date.
Well, don't forget, we come from way back in the
Dating
50s
age.
and 60s, you know? So dating then was,
Courting.
I would say, similar to courting, I think dating starts when you realize that there's an attraction between the two of them. I think it is different now.
Oh, the language is all different
Yes.
now.
I think dating comes before relationship.
Yeah, but I think courting comes before dating.
Yeah, I think not going out with anybody, like not hanging out with any other guys. I mean, you can hang out with guys, but not like one-on-one. I don't know. I guess
Yeah,
like spending most of your time with like one person.
I think a lot of these technologies have made it easier to make less effort.
in those days there were no iPhones, couldn't text. So if you wanted to talk to each other, you had to
Use the
call.
phone, telephone.
Yeah.
You know, guy would come pick up the girl. I don't know if people would meet somewhere like they do now, but usually it was very formal. It was kind of formal, I think.
So we were Facebook friends before we even had each other's phone numbers, just because it does seem like it's a nice buffer in a sense.
Yeah.
We
Either on the phone or over text.
if we're just like having a conversation, we'll just text. But if we like want to figure out like plans or something, we'll call each other.
If I just want to talk to her, if I just want to hear her voice, then I'll call her.
Social media, would that include payphones?
Like you have today. I mean, you got a phone that's literally a computer.
What have social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter, Match.com, and Tinder done for society and its inhabitants? With the possibility of talking to a stranger with just one click of a button, are people becoming lazy with their dating and friendship efforts? What has social media done for society and the way in which we interact?
You know, you kind of realize almost an infinite number of options that you can sort of pursue in your romantic experience. And that can be, paralyzing in some ways.
I think people, especially younger people, have lost the art of conversation.
It just opens up the pool for cheating, and it makes it easier for people to it's just another thing that somebody might want to check or question.
I don't think it's really hurt us, but I think maybe because
It's made it kind of a negative impact in some ways. If we are fighting or something, I always tweet mean things about him.
The starting point has been casualized, I think, in a lot of ways that would have been surprising if you were to plunk down somebody from the 18th century or much less the 1950s into a college context nowadays.
All we had was each other,
And we spoke to each other. We didn't text.
As far as our electronic dating, he called me from a payphone from a bowling alley.
When we first started going out, I feel like it was, for the first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we were constantly texting each other.
Yeah. I found that in order to communicate with my grandchildren, they don't answer their phone, so I have to text them.
I think it's rare for a day to go by without us emailing each other or texting each other.
Letter writing is a lost art, I think, because texting is now just as fast as you can get it out.
on Instagram, we would a picture once a day, probably.
Yeah,
I think our limit is probably 3 pictures a day, because then it's too much.
I hardly ever see, some of our grandchildren actually talking and like we used to talk, when we were dating.
One of the benefits of social media is that it collapses all kinds of cliques and subcultures and different networks in your life into one sort of mass audience, right?
We've been at a point now for a while where we don't use it to communicate, but it is nice to hear about other people's relationships and talk about our relationships.
I tweet like funny things at him and stuff. We don't really talk through Facebook, but we'll post pictures. We don't really like converse through social media, but we like post things of each other.
From a positive standpoint, I think it's incredible the amount of information that is at everyone's fingertips.
It's progress, I mean, but in terms of the communicating with each other individually, it's all done through the phones and the texting.
I just worry that it's hurting like the way that people interact with each other in a real way.
No one wants to talk to anybody like on a phone. It's almost like it's not real. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't have to talk to anyone, but you know every little thing about them, and you know like what they ate yesterday, and you know everything, every little
Nice,
detail about their
weird.
life. Yeah,
It's
it's kind
not-
of weird.
So is there a new world of dating? Yes and no. I think dating at its core is still the same, but I do agree that people are doing it a lot differently.
Is that I think it's made us even more conscious of the performing of ourself.